What up, guys? So, the Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell fight happened over the weekend, and I just had to come out with a video. Listen, I don't know. I recommend you guys trying to look it up and trying to watch the fight, but I don't know if it's even worth your time. Because I watched this fight, and you knew what was going to happen. You knew these were two guys way past their prime, and you didn't really see the reason of them fighting. Now, granted, one of the greatest rivalries of all time in all sports. Come on, you got to give it that credit. But in MMA history, and especially the UFC, when you think of rivalries, you think of Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. They're at least up there. So these guys fight, and I had some kind of faith. I was like, you know what? Let's just try and watch this with an open mind. You know, these are two guys that I grew up on, especially being a huge MMA guy, a huge MMA fan. And it was everything but. I watched the first 10 seconds of this fight. Now, mind you, even before they started going, okay? Tito Ortiz looked 10 times bigger than Chuck Liddell. Now, that's usual. A lot of people don't understand how big of a dude Tito Ortiz is, okay? He's a big guy. Chuck Liddell, on the other side, looked in shape for his age. And again, I said for his age. He did not look that great, guys. He looked old. He looked like he was in shape, like I said. But compared to Tito Ortiz, and at the age that they were, I just didn't see the possibilities of Chuck even winning this fight. Yes, the past two fights, obviously, back when they were in the prime, Chuck Liddell gets the knockouts. This is a different situation. Chuck Liddell's approaching 50 years old, and he's in the ring. So anyway, I have faith. I have faith that this fight was going to go down. So, and have somewhat of excitement level to it. They meet in the middle of the cage. Obviously, they're tapping up. And I kid you not, guys, the first jab that you see in this fight, you're immediately like, what was that? Chuck Liddell, and again, he's a legend. I don't want to disgrace him the way, like, I don't want people to think like that I'm a Chuck Liddell hater, but the punches that Chuck were doing was completely pathetic. It was pathetic. And leading up to the fight, we got to see the pads, Chuck Liddell hitting the pads, and Tito Ortiz even bashed him for it. He's like, are you serious right now? And I thought, you know, like, Tito even said in an interview, well, you know what, Chuck Liddell, I think, is dog, and I think that he's going to give it his all in this fight. And we don't know the financial situations going on between both guys, but they wanted to fight each other. Okay, we'll leave it at that. There could be different reasons. I don't know their financial success. I know Tito just got done fighting, so he was already leading up from Bellator into this fight. But Chuck hasn't fought in a while. So anyway, they're fighting. Punches are being thrown. Pathetic punches. Tito's like in there trying to like shimmy, 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 while Chuck is throwing these looping jabs and hooks. Now, he's always been a street fighter mentality guy, but he's a good kickboxer. I don't recall him even throwing a kick. But his punches were so bad that this fight could have been done in the first 10 seconds, guys. I'm not even kidding with you. Because Tito Ortiz, he didn't look bad to the standards of what he used to be in Bellator. But again, that's in Bellator, guys. Again, Tito, when I say in the standards of what he like used to be in Bellator, meaning like he's still at the end of his road. Okay, he should not be in there with top level fighters. If he's in a fight with Chuck Liddell, that's a different story. If he gets anybody that's somewhat remotely, you know, gonna throw a straight jab and a cross, Tito's gonna have an issue. And anybody that can defend his takedowns. Anyway, before I get sidetracked with that, the fight finally goes, I think, in the second round, and Chuck Liddell gets popped with finally a cross, like when I was begging for it to happen because it was so pathetic. It was so hard to watch, guys. I almost turned it off in the first 30 seconds. Chuck finally gets clipped by a cross by Tito, and that's all she wrote. Father Time is one thing that is it's undefeated. Father Time, as we know, the quote, Father Time's undefeated, especially when it comes to the MMA world, when it's not only your body that you have to keep in shape, but this thing right here, your chin, will go out like a light. And we've always seen it with older fighters. Chuck got hit with a cross that was an alright cross, but again, enough power to generate. Down goes Chuck Liddell. The fight's over. Tito pounds his chest, does his burial, digging up the dirt, which I thought, was cool to watch, even because I just love when Tito does that stuff. And I'm not even the biggest Tito fan. Let's just get that. We'll get that out of the way, okay? The fight concludes. Frank Mir comes in for the post-fight interview, and of course Tito is fired up. Tito has the opportunity, and he has the floor to himself with the microphone, and he says things that are not surprising. Things like, hey, if you guys want to get paid, you come to this organization. Oscar De La Hoya will pay you the right money. And then he goes on and tells Chuck Liddell that he is hoping that he's not going to be retired after this fight, and that he wants him to continue fighting. And then when Frank Mir asked Chuck Liddell, "Hey, is this your last fight? What do you think of your fight?" And Chuck goes into, I don't know, we're gonna have to go to the chalkboard. I don't know if this is my last fight, but I feel great. What? I get, because any athlete will say the same thing. Any athlete still thinks they got it. That's a classic situation that we see in this last Saturday with this fight with Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. There's two guys that think that they still have it. They think that they could still make something happen in their careers. And they want to still make money. Again, we don't know the financial situation between them. But they're now in an organization that is ran by Oscar De La Hoya, a boxer. He is a good promoting boxer. He's got his own stuff going on in the boxing world. MMA is a different story. And if you guys don't recall, the backlash that Conor McGregor got in when he tried to come over, when he did come over, mind you, and fought Floyd Mayweather. One of the biggest guys to give that situation crap was Oscar De La Hoya. So you really think that he's a huge MMA fan? Let's get that. That's ludicrous. Kick rocks if you think that. He's a money guy, but he's not an MMA guy. And I get what Tito's trying to do. I get what Oscar's trying to do. And I get what Chuck's trying to do. They're trying to build this thing. But I don't know. After seeing that fight, guys, that was so hard to watch. It was honestly a disgrace. And I hope that people don't think of Chuck Liddell in that that view that they had this last Saturday of what he put on. Because he's a legend. And let's not get that twisted. But the fight was hard to watch. Chuck Liddell, I love you. You should retire. Tito Ortiz, you finally got your revenge in fashion. You should retire. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.